Technology, ever-changing and ever-growing, brings us the future we have always imagined. But how did it get to where we are now? And where will it go next? Did you know that you could earn money for finding bugs with Facebook? Do you know the actual meaning of Android? Or how much of the world's currency is digital? Find the answers to these tech questions in this video. So without further ado, here are the top 20 surprising technology facts that you probably didn't know. But before watching video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and turn on notifications to get latest must-know videos. Number 1. The first ever videocassette recorder was the size of a piano. Probably the most of people saw old videocassette recorder. A while it was a part of our life. Let's see the first VCR. When the first VCR was made in 1956, it was the size of a piano. Ampex released the world's first magnetic tape video recorder, the VRX 1000, in April 1956. It caused a sensation, but with a price tag of $50,000, equivalent to some $325,000 today, expensive rotating heads that had to be changed every few hundred hours, and the need for a highly skilled operator, it was far from a consumer item. Number 2. Domain name registrations were free till 1995. Domains, one of the base part of the web. Way back when people didn't realize how huge the internet would be, registering a domain name was free until 1995. When a fee was introduced, it was high. Prices were typically $100 for 2 years of registration and then dropped to $70 in 1997. Domain registrations prices have dropped considerably since AKANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, was formed to control domain registrations. Elon Musk purchased the domain name Tesla.com for $11 million in 2018. Number 3. Alexa is always listening to your conversations. This probably isn't new to you. Siri has been doing it forever. Alexa stores your dialogue history to its cloud to help improve your Alexa experience, but you can review and delete these recordings either in bulk or individually. Just open your Alexa app and go to your account and find your recording history, then you can play or delete it. Number 4. The first computer mouse wasn't made from plastic. Sometimes we can't think about mouseless computer. It's hard to use some apps or games. Mouse has been improved and made it useful during the years. Mechanical, optical, 3D cordless, and etc. For historical lookup in 1964, Doug Engelbart invented the first ever computer mouse. Back then, it was made out of wood. It was rectangular and featured a little button on the top right. He called it a mouse because the cord coming out of the back reminded him of the tiny rodents. Number 5. Which came first, spam mail or spam meat? There are some kind of mails called spam. Have you ever thought before where this name came from? Spam mail was named after the canned meat. In a Monty Python skit, they said spam meat was horrible in being ubiquitous and inescapable. Sounds pretty accurate to the annoying junk mail I get. Also, did you know that on average, for every spam mail sent, they only get one reply for every 12 million spam emails sent? Is it even worth it at that point? Number 6. The first alarm clock could only ring at 4 a.m. and only one time. The first mechanical alarm clock could only ring at 4 a.m., invented by Levi Hutchings in 1787. It wasn't until 1876 that a wind-up alarm clock was made that could be set for any time. Number 7. You're in good hands if your surgeon was a gamer. Oddly enough, surgeons that grew up playing video games more than 3 hours per week make 37% fewer errors. Not only that, but they also had a 42% faster completion rate when it comes to performing laparoscopic surgery as well as suturing. Number 8. Yahoo's original name was a mouthful. Yahoo was started at Stanford University upon the April 1994 renaming of Jerry and David's guide to the World Wide Web to Yahoo. Young and Fellow said that yet another hierarchical, officious oracle was a suitable backronym for this name, but they insisted they had selected the name because they liked the world's general definition as in Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan. The Yahoo.com domain was created on January 18, 1995. Number 9. Apollo 11 astronauts couldn't afford insurance. Life insurance for a space mission cost a fortune because the risks were extremely high back then. So instead, the astronauts of Apollo 11 signed hundreds of covers that their families could sell in case anything went wrong. Number 10. Android is gender specific. Have you wondered about sex of android robot? The word was coined from the Greek. The word android literally means a human with a male robot appearance. The female equivalent of this word is a gynoid. Number 11. There is a name for when you feel your phone vibrate, but it doesn't. Phantom vibration syndrome is a name for when someone thinks their phone is vibrating, but it isn't. Research suggests the cause of this is someone being over-involved with their phone. Number 12. In 1956, 5 megabytes of data weighed a ton. It was 1956 when IBM launched RAMAC, the first computer with something like a hard drive that we use today. RAMAC itself stood for Random Access Method of Accounting and Control. The whole cabinet weighed over 1,000 kilograms and the 5 megabyte data was spread over 50 huge aluminum disks coated with magnetic iron oxide. The disk rotated at a speed of 1,200 RPM and the machines were released for $3,200 per month back in the day. In 1956, 5 megabyte. In 2013, it was at 4 terabytes. In 2020, it's reached to 20 terabytes. Number 13. Russia built a computer that ran on water in 1936. Vladimir Lukyanov built something like this in 1936, but he used water to create a computer that solved partial differential equations. In images of the Lukyanov computer, you will see a complex system of interconnected tubes filled with water. Adjusting taps and plugs altered the flow of water and changed the variables, while the end result was seen by measuring the level of water in certain tubes. It was also called a water integrator and was originally designed to solve the problem of cracking in concrete. It's now found in Moscow's Polytechnic Museum. Number 14. NASA's internet speed is 91 gigabits per second. The average household internet speeds are roughly 25 megabits per second. It can be said for comparison, that's usually fast enough to watch Netflix with no buffer time. And let's face the fact, if there is any tech company that would actually make good use of them internet speeds, it's NASA. Number 15. QWERTY was designed to slow you down. There are actually 2 theories to this. The first one starts to make sense when you look at manual typewriters. If someone typed too fast, the keys would jam. QWERTY placed common alphabets at a distance from each other and slowed typists down. Another history is the telegraph operators designed the QWERTY layout because it was easier and faster to decipher Morse code. Either way, there was no reason to keep using the layout, but it stuck and there was resistance to change. You can actually change your keyboard layout to the faster Dvorak layout in the language settings, or just buy a new Dvorak keyboard. Number 16. The passwords for the nuclear missiles were just a string of zeros. Although the Air Force denies this, one Air Force launch officer, Bruce Blair, says they are lying. And what government would want to admit to something that's silly? For 20 years, the password was 8 zeros all in a row, and it was written down so nobody forgot. Number 17. Technical degrees are almost useless by the time you graduate. This fact is about students who are specially interested in technological qualifications. It's common knowledge that a degree looks good on paper, but in fact, technology is advancing faster than ever. The amount of technical information doubles every 2 weeks. So if you start a 4-year degree, then half of what you learn by the time you finish will be obsolete. Number 18. Google uses the same amount of energy as 200,000 homes. It is no surprise this tech powerhouse needs a lot of power. That accounts for about 0.013% of the entire world's energy use. And while not of all their energy is from wind and solar, they purchase carbon offsets, which leaves them with no carbon footprint. Number 19. The name of robot has dark origins. Robots come in all shapes and sizes, and sure, we hope one day they might do our bidding and rid us of the most boring, taxing, and unwanted jobs of society. But did you know the term robot comes from a Czech word robota, meaning forced labor? We just hope they never discover that to be the case, as we're fairly sure that when the robot uprising will begin. Number 20. The Firefox logo isn't a fox. Have you heard about Firefox? For the name you can think that their logo is a fox. Wrong. What you see in the logo is nothing close to a fox. There's a common misbelief that because the browser is named Firefox, the logo must be a fox. Surprisingly, the cute furry creature is actually a red panda. If you like our videos, please subscribe the channel and turn on notifications to get latest must-know videos.